Welcome to The Debate. Today we're digging into a really tough situation for the Cleveland Browns. Their running back, Judkins, suffered a gruesome season-ending injury, a dislocated ankle, and a fractured fibula. But since then, the medical prognosis has been, well, surprisingly optimistic.
Right. So the real question here is this. Does the good news, the lack of ligament damage and that 4 to 5 month recovery window, does that actually overcome the long-term risk for a workhorse back? Not to mention the immediate crisis the team is in right now.
Exactly. And my position is that yes, the medical outcome provides genuine relief and, frankly, a strong reason to be confident in Judkins' full return by spring practice.
And I'm coming at it from a different angle. While we should all be thankful it wasn't worse, we just can't dismiss the severity of this kind of trauma. The positive timeline, well, it frames a huge setback. It certainly doesn't erase it.
Okay, so let's focus on that long-term outlook for a second. The fact remains that for a running back, the ligaments, the soft tissue, that's paramount. Judkins' entire game is built on explosive cuts, on planting his foot. The report suggests the really critical ligaments are intact. I mean, that makes the 4 to 5 month timeline for a spring return genuinely the best possible news you could hope for. He proves his value this year, 827 yards on 230 carries. The confidence should be in his long-term future, because those foundational structures are protected.
I see why you'd lean on that medical report. I do. But let me give you a different perspective. We have to acknowledge the psychological impact of a trauma like this. You heard quarterback Shedeur Sanders. He was clearly shaken up, saying he felt bad because he threw the ball that led to the injury. That kind of emotional fallout, that signals a real moment of crisis. And more immediately, the Browns are dealing with an unsustainable personnel problem. They're down their top 3 backs, Judkins, Jerome Ford, and the rookie Dylan Sampson. This forces them to rely on Travion Williams and Raheem Sanders right before huge games. That tests the very foundation of their rushing attack.
But on the long-term functionality, the spring timeline is credible. And it's credible precisely because the ligaments are okay. Ligaments heal slowly. They often don't regain their full strength. Bone healing and joint stabilization, that's a much more predictable, much more manageable recovery process for an athlete. We're talking about getting back to full power, not just being able to jog. This means his core ability to change direction shouldn't be fundamentally compromised.
That's a compelling argument, but it's based on an idealized recovery, isn't it? Have you considered the reality for a player who was already showing, let's be honest, some signs of limited explosiveness? Judkins only averaged 3.6 yards per carry this season. Now a dislocation and fracture. Even with intact ligaments, that involves a massive amount of force that compromises the joint capsule, the small muscles around it. For a player whose margin for error was, already pretty thin, this kind of severe skeletal trauma creates significant doubt that he'll ever regain that truly elite NFL acceleration. Time on the field is one thing, elite performance is another. And that spills right into the depth crisis. I mean, the fact that they have to suddenly elevate Williams and Sanders to lead roles, it just shows how strategically unstable things are. Coach Stefanski's whole identity relies on the ground game, setting up the pass, especially against defenses like the Steelers and the Bengals. If they're forced to pivot away from that, it threatens the stability of their entire system at the worst possible time.
Okay, while the necessity is clear, I think the team's adaptability shouldn't be understated. Stefanski's system is highly organized. Both Williams and Sanders are proven scheme fits. They offer tactical versatility. I mean, Williams showed that with 4 catches for 38 yards. The system is designed to get production even with backups. So it's a challenge to stability, sure, but not necessarily a structural failure of the offense. The long-term certainty of Judkins' return lets them focus on adapting right now. I'm not so sure.
Ultimately, I think the medical outcome confirms Judkins remains the Browns' workhorse for the foreseeable future. That alone justifies the relief felt by the organization.
And while that is a relief for him as an individual, absolutely, we have to keep weighing that against the functional risk tied to this specific injury at this specific position, and of course the critical challenge facing the Browns' offense right now.
Indeed. The debate really remains on the true cost, both functional and strategic, of an injury like this. And I think how the Browns manage their rotation these next few weeks and how Judkins looks coming into the offseason, that will be the definitive evidence.